welcome back to the Behind the Well show. Roger Abel back with Elias Randall. We want to start off today wishing everybody a happy holiday, Merry Christmas. It's the big day, Eli.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Now, if you're like me, we've already done most of our Christmas festivities. We're clearly filming this show pre-Christmas, but tell me, what do you guys do? I know in our family, we do my wife's family on Christmas Eve. Everybody comes to our house, celebrate our family Christmas on Christmas morning, and we go to my parents' house in the afternoon of Christmas. And that's all the Christmas that we do. We don't do weekends before, weekends after. About 15 years ago, we told our family we're going to do Christmas on Christmas, and after that, there's no more.
Okay.
Only because I'm sure many people out there are like us, and you figured out that it's supposed to be fun, and when Christmas is 4 weekends long,
Gets to be a lot.
Gets to be a lot of travel and drag, and everybody now really enjoys it. We have a lot of fun together. But what do you guys do?
So, well, Christmas Day is at our house, which we have young kids, so we do Christmas morning stuff, and then we'll have some grandparents and people come over, and we'll have a nice lunch, and that's Christmas.
Nice.
So Santa Claus presents, and then other gifts, and then and that's it. But we still do basically from Thanksgiving until Christmas every weekend. Every weekend's busy with stuff to do. So yeah, by Christmas, we've already had at least 2 parties for family get-togethers. So it's always a lot of work, but we don't have to travel that far. All of our family's in the area. So
well, that's good. And we really look forward to it. I mean, we're like, okay, the work for us is going to be, I make oyster stew, which everybody really enjoys. I actually hand shuck every oyster to put in it. So it's super fresh. They always enjoy that. And then my mom always has the best cookie plate.
Really?
Yeah, she makes
make them?
Yeah. And my girls help bake them too. They do a grandma-daughter cookie day.
Fun.
Yeah. And it's a day that Megan and I get to go shopping and just kind of get caught up for Christmas, like do all the stuff ahead of time. You know, with little kids, it's hard to find the time and get organized to get all this done. And fortunately, my wife does 98% of it. I mean, she does. She handles all the Christmas, the wrapping, the buying, all that stuff. So I appreciate that. But we thought today, in the spirit of Christmas, we would do the 12 Days of Christmas, the personal finance edition. If you kind of think about the 12 Days of Christmas in general, it's just a time to have gratitude and reflect on all the great things that happened last year and start to make your goals for next year. And I think most people are going to do the dreaded New Year's resolution. And I know you don't.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, we actually discussed it on a show, Elias. I don't think you were here. I think Jonas maybe did it or someone else did it with me. And I said, Elias doesn't do New Year's resolutions.
Nope, I don't do those.
So regardless, we should have goals. So one of the things, the very day one of our 12 Days of Christmas Personal Finance Edition, you should have a clear financial vision.
Is that what you do on the first day of Christmas? You get your clear financial vision?
I mean, that's step one. It's not the first day of Christmas, but this is the Personal Finance Edition, Elias. So clear financial vision. So 2025, what do you want to achieve, whether it's paying off debt, saving for a purchase, buying a vacation place, maybe it's just growing your investments, just write it down. Have a vision. It's almost like if you work things backwards in life, it gets a little easier to accomplish it. And I was watching I get caught watching Reels or TikToks, and I have 2 things that kind of equate to this. First, there was a guy talking about how to have a $125 million company. I'm like, yeah, that'd be awesome. He made a really good point. He said, you need to envision what a $125 million company looks like and then work the steps backwards to actually see if your idea even has the ability to get there. For instance.
Yeah, I would think that's, yeah.
I mean,
not every business even has the potential to be worth that.
Right. So it's just like your goal. Okay, what's your goal? Then what are the steps I have to take to get to this thing? So almost work from the end. The other thing, I like to deer hunt, right?
Yeah.
One of the best ways to figure out how to be successful, figure out where the deer is living and where it's going. And then you figure out where it's going and work it backwards to figure out where you need to be. It's the same thing. So clear financial vision, put it on paper, figure out what your goals are, and you have to write it down. If it's not written down, it's not real. I think this is the number one step people make. Hey, yeah, this is my goal. I didn't write it down. It's just a goal in my head. There's no accountability. There's no one saying, hey, are you actually going to accomplish this year?
Yeah, I like that. You got to get that writ down somewhere. Or
Writ
write
down?
it write it down
Did you
somewhere.
say writ down?
That's the way I say that. You got to get that writ down.
Hey, I got to tell you the other day, and this is totally off topic, but Megan and I, she goes, I feel like we're a little bit country or hillbilly because we'll say stuff and it's not correct grammar. She gave me an example. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like you just said writ down.
But right, I do. I do that on purpose because I think it's funny.
It's the Iowa accent.
I'm sure there's things I say incorrectly and I don't intend to, but that one's always meant to be a little zinger.
Writ down, I like it.
Yep, got to get that writ down. Yeah, so I think a couple things. I have a couple thoughts with this. Like you said, begin with the end in mind, and I don't think there's anything wrong with simplifying a vision or goals. I think I think people have a bigger chance of being successful with sometimes less is more with your goals. Some things can't be accomplished in 12 months. So don't set out to do something that's going to take 60 months. Don't set out to do it in 12. And I think if you put simple goals in front of yourself that you can achieve, you can always make more, right? But if you start with the end in mind, work the steps back, okay, I can get steps 1 and 2 done. We'll do those first, right? Stay focused on those. Once those are done, move on to the next things. So on the second day of Christmas, I'm trying to figure out how to sing this tune like the Christmas Carol. So I think 2 savings accounts is something good to think about, especially with the holiday budget that we've all just spent extra money around the holidays. If you have a way to figure out what did you spend and then create some sort of sinking fund strategy to then have that amount of money available next year. And what you will accomplish by doing that is now Christmas, Thanksgiving, the holiday season is here, and you're not using your emergency fund to pay for holidays. You already have money set aside intended to cover all of your holiday season bills or cost, however you want to look at it. And I think when you do that, right, with investing, well, that's a short-term goal. Okay, so you don't want to take your sinking fund money, your Christmas money, and invest that for maximum growth. You might end up very disappointed at the end of the year, depending on what the market were to do, right? So savings for Christmas, you're just better off with your traditional savings accounts and things like that are very safe, and you know the money's going to be there. So I think considering multiple savings accounts for different short-term goals is another good exercise to do around this time of year.
Day 3 money goals. Set 3 big goals for 2025. Couple examples you could do. Your goal could be to have a 3-month emergency fund. Your second could be pay off a specific debt. And 4, start a monthly automatic savings plan. That'd be 3 very easy, accomplishable goals most people could do for 2025.
Yeah, those are very manageable, and I like the investing consistently every month. Right? I mean, our most successful clients, one thing they all tend to have in common, they did that. They dollar cost averaged into the market over a really long time. Pretty simple. All right, so on the 4th day of Christmas,
You got to sing it.
I don't know how to. I don't know all the
4
words.
debt-free milestones.
There you go. That's pretty good.
We're supposed to have fun with this, Eli.
Fun. I'm a fun guy.
You know, I got to tell you, it's funny. Ironically, when I first read the outline for this, I didn't know it was a song. I'm like, oh. The first time through, I'm like, oh, yeah, reading all these things now. I'm like, oh, yeah, 12 Days of Christmas. I forgot it was a song. I was reading it yesterday, though, so, you know, it's the night after our Christmas party for the company.
Yeah, I think the theme of this comes directly from the Christmas Carol
Is there
song.
a partridge in a pear tree somewhere?
There should be. There should be.
All right, so 4 debt-free milestones.
Yep, so your 4 debt-free milestones, and this could be a number of things. It could be you have maybe you got credit cards, auto loan, student loans. Just whatever you have out there, create some milestones. And I think it could even evolve into something like we want to purchase a house in the future. So this wouldn't necessarily end up being that you're debt-free from the house purchase, but maybe saving enough money to have a down payment and a nice sizable down payment for a future home that makes that debt easier to manage. And there's a couple ways in finance. There's basically 2 popular ways to attack debt. Debt avalanche, which is listing highest interest rate to lowest, and then starting with the highest interest rate, paying off, avalanching into the next one, into the next one, into the next one. And there's also the debt snowball, which is listing debts smallest to largest and attacking them that way. And I've shared with a lot of people, it's not important to me how you decide to do it. What's important is how you execute it. And I think celebrating each little win, like that should feel good. When you get one paid off, you should feel good about that. And a lot of times I found that the debt snowball, even though mathematically is maybe not the optimal way to do it, psychologically, I do believe it is the most optimal way to attack debt because of the smaller wins along the way that help you build momentum into the next debt payoff and into the next debt payoff. And, you know, I think if you can find a way to stay motivated towards that, it makes it a lot easier to attack the debt and get out of debt. And it's funny because once you have your debt to a manageable situation and you have your consumer debt paid off, it's kind of Murphy's Law. Like, you're prepared for more things, so less things go wrong. That doesn't mean nothing goes wrong because that's life, right? Something's always going to go wrong. So I think for the 4th day of Christmas and your partridge in a pear tree, you could start thinking about your debt-free milestones.
Day 5 investing moves. All right, so 5 investing moves for 2025. 1, max out your retirement contributions. If you're maxing out your retirement contributions to your 401k, and if you're eligible to do a Roth IRA, you'll likely be very, very successful throughout your working career as well as in retirement. It's pretty hard to mess it up if you're putting 20,000+ a year away from the time that you're 30 years old or 40 years old. I think the numbers are like $1,500 a month for 20 years roughly could get you to about $1 million. So if you're 45 years old and you're listening, if you're not a millionaire by the time you're 65, it's kind of your own fault. Like, everybody has the opportunity to do it. 2, increase contributions if you get a raise. So probably the most effective way to constantly increase and get your savings going is if you get a 3% raise, save 1% more in your retirement, keep 2 for yourself. Still got a raise, but you also raised the savings for the future. 3, make sure you have a diversified portfolio. Over time, as you update your financial plan, your goals and objectives should be changing. It doesn't mean it's a massive overhaul, but there should be small tweaks that happen along the way. 4, reinvest your dividends. If you don't know you have this option, you do. And most investments pay a dividend or a capital gain. And when you get those, you have the choice to take them in cash or as a dividend. So if you're saving for retirement, if you're in the accumulation phase, you should be reinvesting. Once you get to the distribution phase, there's probably not a whole lot of reason to reinvest it. But if you're in the accumulation phase, reinvest your dividends. And 5th, you should be reviewing your investment strategy annually. What does that mean? That means going back to the core competency of we're going to look at our financial plan. We're going to look at what changed, what our future goals are now. Then how does that make our overall investment strategy look? Has it changed from year to year? Maybe it hasn't, but at least should include some type of a rebalance. And all that is my portfolio was 50% stock, 50% bonds. Well, the market went up 20%. Now it's 60% stock, 40% bonds. Sell a little of the best performers, buy a little of the worst performers. Even if you had a 100% stock portfolio and you had 5 different funds, you can rebalance that because you might own a growth fund and you might own a dividend fund. Well, the dividend fund hasn't done nearly as well as the growth, but at some point it might. So you would rebalance a portfolio. So there's our day 5 investing moves.
On the 6th day of Christmas, schedule a 6-month progress review. So this is a task in the future on your calendar. So 6 months from Christmas, you're going to be looking at end of June, July. So a good time, just kind of a summer checkup. How am I doing? What does my progress look like towards these individual goals? And then what you can do, you can take some stuff off the list. Maybe you've accomplished a few things. Great. Maybe there's a few things that are going well, so you can continue doing well towards those. And maybe there's a couple that need adjustment just from, hey, I've accomplished other things, but this has kind of gone to the back burner. So maybe adjust those goals. So then towards the end of the year, you can have hit successful targets, right? And then reviewing and understanding where you're at, because, and this is one, and I on the show and just in general, I tell people I don't do New Year's resolutions, but you can have goals. And I haven't really adopted, okay, the year's changing, so my vision's going to change, right? So you don't have to wait until the end of the year to figure out what you've done and where you're going. I mean, you don't even have to wait 6 months. You could do it quarterly. You could do it monthly. But I think the point is you should have a time to review what you've done, what has happened, what's going well, what are some opportunities to do better. And I think if you consistently do that, you're going to be on the path towards accomplishing those things.
On the 7th day of Christmas, think about 7 income streams. So we've all heard of all these different things around multiple streams of income. And that's really what you're trying to create with retirement planning, is a stream of income. And in today's world, it's even easier to have multiple ways to get income coming in, right? You have your regular paycheck. You could get a side hustle. You could do some freelancing. You could sell digital products. You could buy investments that pay dividends. There's all these different ways that people can generate revenue. And I think it's so cool what's happened in the last 25 years. Because 25 years ago, if you wanted to go get a side hustle, it was kind of like, I'm delivering pizzas. It was pretty hard because we weren't digitally connected like we are today. Well, if you had to go make an extra $500 a week, Elias, I'm fairly positive it wouldn't be that hard for you to do it. It would require some effort, but the opportunity.
You think you can make $500 a week driving Uber? Probably can if you drive enough.
Probably, but so here's the deal. I don't understand the profitability of Uber. Like, by the time you have your wear, tear, gas, all that stuff, like, is it that profitable? But there are ways. I mean, you could go get on Fiverr and do some finance project for somebody. Right? You can do little side hustles to make it happen. I hear about this stuff all the time. You can have a little store on Etsy selling whatever. People buy all this stuff. So just think, how do I add more income streams to help my family down the road? It doesn't always have to be just 8 to 5 job. It could be a small little deal where you add a little income. I know, like Casey, I think his wife, before they had, really started a family, I think they're out like finding stuff to resell because she really enjoyed, I think, going to like thrift shops or, garage sales or whatever. We've all heard of the people that are garage selling and then reselling it. That's a thing. Like, if you went around and bought stuff to resell, you probably could do pretty well. Now, in Iowa, it's probably challenging because of weather, but there's other parts of the country where it doesn't get cold. Hit a garage sale every week. If you could make $100 a week going to garage sales, you probably could do it. So just
garage sales, I would imagine, because of all that garage sale price,
it's giving it away. It's the get it out of my house price.
Right. So I would think, because we do a lot of the clothes that our kids wear come from garage sales. My wife does a really good job with that. But I bet we could go buy a bunch of nice kid clothes, and like it's always okay. It's 50 cents a shirt or $1 a shirt. How many shirts do you think you could go buy at $1 a piece? Even if it's $5 a piece, turn around, put it on Amazon for 10. I bet you'd sell them all.
You probably could take it, buy it for that price, take it down to one of the thrift shops in town, and have them resell it for you. So we take all of our clothes to a couple of the thrift shops for the kids. There's a little place you take them, and then they get you on the month you get a check. We get like $150 a month.
Really? So you get a percentage?
Yeah.
Of the
they can
sale?
just drops the clothes off, and whatever sells, and after X amount of days, they donate the rest to Goodwill. But every month,
I did not
like
even know
check.
that was an option.
Yeah. Megan searched out a way to unload the junk from our office, or from our house.
From our office.
Well, we have junk in the office too, but that goes out on President's Day.
There you go.
I think we have a TV and 6 computer monitors to go.
Do we? Wow. All right. On the 8th day of Christmas, expense audits. Oh, this one sounds painful. Sounds like doing a budget. I think is a good exercise, but if you can review your expenses, and this one specifically has 8 categories, so it's like your subscriptions, utilities, insurance. Just find different expenses. What are you spending money on, and can you trim any of that to create some extra savings? I'm sure almost every family out there has a subscription that they forgot about, and I have one on the table right now. I signed up for ESPN Plus because I wanted to watch some of the Division III football playoff games. So it's the only way you can watch them, right? So I'm going to pay my $12, have it for 30 days, and then cancel my subscription. What are the odds I have it for more than a month?
For sure.
ESPN's going to get me for probably 2 or 3 months because I'll forget. And actually, they'll give me at least 2 because the championships, I believe, played in January. So they'll get me for a couple extra. But if I were to write down all of these subscriptions and then go, oh, yeah, ESPN Plus, I got that. So I would only have it for about 30 days. Maybe I should cancel that one. It's only $12.
Adds up.
Right. I could go get lunch at Jimmy John's for $12, though.
So, Elias, you know I do the financial audit every year. I do business and personal. And last year, I had one expense column that I was kind of shocked as to how big it was. I cut it by 25%. My other one that I looked at is I used to go to Starbucks every day.
I have noticed you don't do Starbucks as much. You're drinking a lot more coffee just out of the coffee pot here at the office.
My Starbucks bill was significant, and it's down 80% this year.
Wow.
80%. Because I've just went to making it here, buying it. When I go to Starbucks now, it's actually just buy the pre-ground coffee. It's not actually, like, I'll get a coffee when I go, but if I go once a week, that would be more than I usually go there. I used to go once or twice a day. So I do the same thing. I do the same thing with subscriptions. What am I using? What am I not? And every year, I've got one subscription right now that's $250 a month. You know what it is. And I like the subscription, but I maybe use it one time a month. And it's for business. So I toy as to whether I should keep it or not. But it's not providing value to customers. It's mostly just information for me. But there's some hard ones. They're not always easy. But one of the things you can do is remember, it's a subscription. If you cancel it, you can always get it back.
They will let you come back.
They will let you come back. But I think this is the number one thing that has changed over 20 years. 20 years ago, no one had a subscription. Like your subscription was to the Gazette, to the newspaper.
Yeah, magazines and the newspaper.
Now, everything you do, $2.99, $3.99. I had the old story of I signed up for that Dollar Shave Club back in like right when it came out. I didn't even know where I was getting billed because it was whatever, like $2 a month or $3 a month. And they sent me 3 or 4 razors. I still have 100 razors at my house. I finally got it canceled, but I've been canceled for like 3 years. I still have 100 razors. But those are the ones that just get away from you.
Lifetime supply.
Well, I switched to electric now, so I probably do have a lifetime supply. But review those. So the 9th day of Christmas, 9 smart financial habits. Commit to these 9 habits in 2025. First, automate everything. Automate your savings and paying your bills. Couple things happen. You'll have more money because you're saving more. But number 2, you're not going to miss a payment. You're not going to have any negative effect on your credit score because you forgot to pay a bill, forgot to pay the credit card. Everything I have set up automatic. Even if I have a credit card, which I typically don't use, but even the business card that I have it set up to automatically pay the minimum payment. Even though I always pay the balance, I still have it set up to make the minimum payment just in case I were to forget. 2, track your monthly expenses. You know, the better handle you have on a budget, more financially successful you are. 3, this is the hardest one in today's world to do. Avoid impulse purchases. It is the hardest because marketing is in your face every day. People are spending so much time on their devices, and most of the device content now is marketing to get you to buy something. 4, build an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months. 5, increase your credit score awareness. Most of your banks now have a little credit score on there. It's not really your FICO score, but it's like a simulator, kind of shows you where you're at, going up and down. 6, if you're going to shop with a list. This is a great way to spend less money. I find I do the grocery shopping in our house.
Well, that'll cut down on impulse purchases too, having a list.
100%. In my house, I do the grocery shopping. If I order online, I spend half as much. If I go to the store, it's double. And 2 reasons why. 1, online, I'm not drawn in by the packaging. I'm just like, oh, that's what I need, and that's the price. And then I can like price shop. When I go to the store, I'm not really paying attention to the prices all that much. Ooh. I know they're all $4.99.
This looks good. That one looks good.
Right. So when I go online, though, the other thing is I'm at my house. I can go see what I need. How many bottles of mustard does a family need to have? Because I've had 4 or 5 before. Oh yeah, we don't have that.
How much mustard do you go through?
We don't, but
you had 4 bottles of mustard. You're going to have mustard for the next 15 years.
Here's what happens. Oh yeah, we're going to have a barbecue. You don't make a list, right?
Yeah, you just
go to the store. Oh, better get a mustard. I don't know if we have mustard. We should just get it because it's $2.99. That's how it happens. Or, man, do we have barbecue sauce? Better grab it. Oh, do we have butter? Better grab it. No list equals more money. 7, pay off credit cards monthly. You should pay your credit cards monthly. If you're struggling with a plan, I actually think it's a good idea to pay it weekly if you can. It's less money. If you're using your credit card to pay bills, a lot of people have bill pay set up on a credit card, which I don't suggest. Put it on your debit card. But if you do, go in weekly and pay the $150 versus waiting until the end of the month and getting the bill for $1,000. Okay. 8, invest regularly. If you're not doing a 401k, that's the easiest way to start. And 9, review your financial goals annually. Annually, take a look at your financial goals and readjust. You don't need to do it more often than annually. Annually is a really good amount of time to let go by, let your life change, to figure out what your new goal is. If you're doing it more frequently, you're just going to be jumping around and never really accomplishing anything. It's hard to accomplish stuff in 90 days.
It is. Well, annually is a good target, too, because that just brings, I mean, if you do it once a year, right? And like you said, enough time, sometimes after 90 days, well, you might still be working on a few things. Yeah. So there's really no reason to review and adjust.
So those are the 9 financial habits.
And the 10th day of Christmas, this is a good one here. 10% savings rule. So can you challenge yourself to save 10% of your total income? And I think a great way, if you're not there, a great way to do it, you could start small and then make increases to your savings. I do think over time, people who tend to do the best job with wealth building, 10% is kind of the minimum buy-in, I would say, towards that goal. I've met plenty of people who saved 10% of their income for a long time and they did well, done very good. The people that go above and beyond that and the super savers that save 20, 25, 30%, they do build a lot more wealth than people that only save 10% of their income. But I think that is a good target that if you do that for long enough, you should be set up for some level of long-term financial success, right? Well, is it going to be the most lavish life you could ever have? Maybe, maybe not, depending on your income. For most people, probably not. But could you get to a place where you're financially independent by doing that? And if you're good with your debt too, absolutely, you can accomplish that.
And the 10% is your savings rate. That doesn't include what your company's giving you for a match.
Correct.
That's the key, because if you do 10 and your company gives you 4, you're at 14. 10% is your savings rate.
Yep.
On the 11th day of Christmas, 11 acts of giving. Plan 11 acts of generosity for 2025. That doesn't always have to be monetary. It could be volunteering, donating to causes you care about, supporting a friend, a family, somebody in need, handing out turkeys on Thanksgiving. It could be a monetary donation. Just figure out 11 ways to give back. Every time I donate money or my time, it always makes me feel actually really good. You know, I have several charitable organizations that I work with and I donate money to and support. And it's always pretty fun. I went to a gala for one of them and I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. So just 11 acts of giving.
And I think with that, you know, there's the old saying, what goes around comes around. I think there's a lot of people that are successful financially and they are also good at being charitable and giving. And I think giving is kind of one of the, it's like a good karma thing to do, where if you're generous, like more generosity is going to come around. So I just think it's a good thing if you're successful to, you know, and even if you're not, like you said, even if you don't have a bunch of extra money, your time, donating time to different causes, like at our, where our kids go to school, we can sign up to work concession stands at events, and all that money goes to the different programs or the activities through the school.
That's way of giving.
So that's a great use. Hey, and I'd much rather, me personally, I'd rather be inside watching the basketball game, but it's also part of being part of the community, right? Giving back some time and helping out. And on the 12th day, 12 months of financial discipline. So I think here's the good news with being successful with money. You don't need to totally rebuild your engine, you know, gut all the plans. You can have smaller, consistent things that you focus on and work towards and build into those over time. It's just, you know, there's momentum in life, right? When you're working towards things and doing things. And you could feel like, okay, I'm in a pretty good financial situation, but I want to improve it. You know, don't set yourself up for failure by trying to do too much. Make small, consistent changes that take you further down the path every time. And over your working career, you're going to be, I don't know many people that over their working career did kind of the basics of finance to be successful and then ended up unhappy with that decision when they got there.
And I think the final thought, as we celebrate Christmas, give yourself the power of financial planning. Gift yourself that. You know, these 12 tips can help you not just survive, but help you thrive in retirement. People who have clear goals, develop great habits, consistent action, they typically succeed not only financially, but in life. I mean, these aren't just financial lessons, they're life lessons. So if anybody's looking to get a financial plan, and we'd be happy to help you guys here at Premier Investments. With that said, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday. Hope you have a good time. Enjoy it with your family, and enjoy a cookie or two. I know I'm going to. Merry Christmas.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. The opinions voiced in this show are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial or tax advisor prior to investing. Premier Investments and Wealth Management and LPL Financial do not provide tax advice. Please consult your tax professional. Economic forecasts set forth may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that strategies promoted will be successful. There's no guarantee that a diversified portfolio will enhance overall returns or outperform a non-diversified portfolio. Diversification does not protect against market risk. Rebalancing a portfolio may cause investors to incur tax liabilities and/or transaction costs, and does not assure profit or protect against loss. All performance referenced is historical and is not a guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. There is no assurance that the techniques and strategies discussed are suitable for all investors or will yield positive outcomes. The purchase of certain securities may be required to affect some of the strategies. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of principal. Consult your tax professional about eligibility to Roth and traditional IRA contributions. Contributions and earnings in a Roth IRA can be withdrawn without paying taxes and penalties if the account owner is at least 59.5 and has held their Roth IRA for at least 5 years. Traditional IRA account owners have considerations to make before performing a Roth IRA conversion. These primarily include income tax consequences on the converted amount in the year of the conversion, withdrawal limitations from a Roth IRA, and income limitations for future contributions to a Roth IRA. In addition, if you are required to take a minimum distribution, R&D, in the year you convert, you must do so before converting to a Roth IRA. This information is not intended to be a substitute for specific individualized tax advice. We suggest that you discuss your specific tax issues with a qualified tax advisor